Hey guys, I was playing Festival of Blood today, and I got to thinking, you know, um, I'm gonna start off real straight to the point here. I'm not gonna do an introduction of like what this video is about and all that stuff. I got to thinking, what if Cole's amp that he uses in Festival of Blood, I don't know what you'd call it. You have to think of something cool to name it. But what if you could use that amp in Infamous 2? Make it a DLC offer for Infamous 2. Just something else you could add in there to give players a little bit more creativity. So you can play through, the Infamous 2 game with Cole's Festival of Blood amp. I just was wondering what you guys thought about that. You can leave comments below, tell me your ideas or thoughts or whatever you want to leave. I also got to thinking that Festival of Blood could have used some better designers. And what I mean is, it's obviously made by the same people that made an Infamous 2. But when I play Festival of Blood, I feel like I'm playing a demo of a game. I don't feel like I'm playing an actual video game. I feel like I'm being restricted because of the powers that you have. The powers are very limited. I think Festival of Blood, it didn't ruin the Infamous series, but it definitely declined its popularity. At least in my point of view, because of the fact that you have very little powers. I mean, what you have your bolts and rockets and grenades and blasts, but you don't have any ionic powers anymore. The only thing you have is the Shadow Swarm. And I think that Sucker Punch really took away from who Cole McGrath really is. He is a conduit that has electrical powers. He's not some vampire. Even though he gets bitten and turns into a vampire, that doesn't decrease any of his powers. I think they should still allow people to be able to switch powers. Just like in Infamous 2. How you were able to go in and pick what powers you want instead of being tied down to having one power for one button. And I don't like the upgrading system. I don't. I don't like how if you defeat a certain amount of if you defeat a certain amount of enemies, then you get, you unlock a different power. Like if you find so many hidden firstborns, you unlock the Magnum Bolt, and then you're stuck with that one. You can't go back and switch powers. And I don't like that. I think they should give you a bit more freedom with your powers. Another thing that I didn't like is the vampire vision. Now, yes, I like vampire vision, but what I don't like about it is that it's, once again, you're stuck to one button for the control. You can't lift up cars anymore. You can't use the lightning tether. You can't use the ice blast or anything. And once again, maybe this has something to do with the timeline when Festival of Blood takes place. Like I said earlier, or no, I haven't said earlier, like I'm gonna say right now, maybe Festival of Blood takes place when you and Zeke come here to learn how to climb. Everyone knows, like, the cutscene on Infamous 2, right after you break into New Marais, there's a cutscene that tells about how you and Zeke came to New Marais a couple years ago and you learned how to climb. Maybe it takes place during that time period. I wouldn't know. But the one thing that kind of tips that scale is that Cole has his amp. That's the one thing. This is the one thing that confuses the hell out of people. Or at least it confuses me. Because if this took place when Cole came here a few years ago, then he shouldn't have his amp already. He should be stuck with his normal backpack and his Infamous 1 powers. And why I'm going on and on about when it took place is because of the powers you have. You have the Ionic Storm. You only get to use it once, which is bullshit. You only get to use it once throughout the entire game. You're only tied down to one action per button. You know, you have the bolts for R1, and you only have a certain bolt too. You either have the alpha bolts from the beginning, or you have the magnum bolts if you if you get them upgraded. You have your blasts, you have grenades, and you have rockets. But you're only tied down to one per each. Like, you can't go back and switch. You can't say, okay, I want to use the sticky rocket, or I want to use the redirect rocket, or I want to use the tripwire rocket. You can't go back and switch which one. It's almost like you're being tied back to Infamous 1, and you have one rocket for that power. You have one grenade for your grenade powers. Once you get your grenades all powered up, you only have the cluster grenades, and you're stuck with those for the rest of the game. I feel like there should be a little bit more freedom in the powers that you can use with Infamous 2. And I think they should have kept the ionic powers. At least keep the ionic storm. Because, I mean, if Festival of Blood takes place before Infamous 2, I understand why they reduced the powers that Cole has, but he should at least be able to use his ionic storm. You should have kept the ionic powers. Maybe they should have done something different with it. Since they're limiting our powers so much, maybe instead of having the ionic charges, they should have went classic, and they should have let us use the electricity for our ionic storm, like in Infamous 1. It didn't take up any sort of ionic charge, it took up your electricity when you used the lightning storm. I just think that we are... I feel that with Festival of Blood we're being crowded into a cage. They're telling us you're going to use this, this, and this, and you're stuck with all these powers, you're stuck with this. It doesn't feel like you have much freedom. It doesn't feel like a full game to me. And I think they should have gave us a little bit more freedom with powers, regardless of when Festival of Blood takes place. And like I've been telling people earlier, I've said that Festival of Blood might have taken place before Infamous 2. Well, I don't know how that would happen, because once again I go back to the subject. Cole doesn't have his amp before Infamous 2, and he has his amp at the very beginning of this game. And Bertrand is obviously out of the place. So this is either before Bertrand came into power or after Bertrand came into power. Not sure when. It has to take place sometime during the Infamous series. Doesn't mean it's connected to the story anyway, but it has to take time somewhere. It has to take place somewhere in the time period of the Infamous series. It's either before Infamous 2, after Infamous 2, during Infamous 2, or some other time period, I don't know. But I guess the powers all revolve around when it takes place. And I think Sucker Punch might have some sort of story behind that. Like, not really anything you can uncover in-game. But they might, when they were producing Festival of Blood, they might have said, oh, well, we're going to make it during this time, so Cole's not going to have all these powers or whatever. But they've done a good job of confusing us about it, because, Cole has certain powers he gets after Infamous 2, and he has certain powers he doesn't have when he first starts Infamous 2. I know it sounds ridiculous that I'm trying to tie Festival of Blood into the storyline, but that's what it really revolves around. Because what I'm trying to find out is why they reduce our availability for powers so much. I want to know why they reduced how many powers we can use and why. I just think it would be a lot better if they gave us more freedom. If they gave us, more powers to use, they allowed us to do more things. And, I don't know, I guess that's a question that will have to be asked later on. I will put up another Infamous 3 update soon. Sooner than I've made the last video, because I know I haven't made a video in quite a while. So, my Infamous 3 update will be soon, probably within the next couple days. Thanks for watching this video, guys, and I will see you later.